Go live. Right, we're live, Josh. I think. Yeah, we're on live now. I'll just quickly put the go OBS Studio and just have that on the main screen. So, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 1 Minute Barber Live. Today, I've got my friend Josh in the chair, and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to do like a long, wavy kind of hairstyle on top. But there's a couple of challenges in this haircut, and that's why I've asked him to come in, and I wanted to show you. The first thing, I want to create a taper at the back, but Josh has what's called a whorl, or an effect on the back where the hair starts to kind of slightly grow up the way on the back of the neck there. So there's this to deal with. You can't just clip her straight up into that. That's something we need to deal with. I also want to leave enough hair so that we can either sweep it back or have it hanging down and kind of like points at the front there as well. But the last time I cut Josh's hair, I felt like there wasn't quite enough hair in the middle that was reaching all the way over. So what we're going to have to do is bring it in slightly at the side, but let this grow out a little bit as well. And it's going to balance this hairstyle out a little bit better. So I'm going to start with my clipper, Wall Senior clipper, bare blade, and I'm just going to start out the taper, and then we'll work our way up into longer hair. That'll be the first thing to do. So, all right, I'll bring you in a little bit closer. Hello, Amy and Waluigi. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the live stream. It's a pleasure to have you here. Okay, so you can see this direction here. The hair, it comes up into this little point at the back, and sometimes you get that at the front of the head. It's what you would call a widow's peak at the front, but sometimes we call it a whorl, spelt W-H-O-R-L at the back, and it comes into this dark point here. So 0, just the bare blade, and I'm going to cut a really straight line just inside the hairline. So it's important that I distinguish in between where the neck hair is and where the head hair is. This is definitely head hair here that comes down, and this is neck hair. So we can get rid of all of that below there and a little bit of the head hair as well. Now that's quite dramatic, okay? We've got this really bold line here, and we've got to fade up from there to make a taper into the longer hair. And it's important that we gradually get into the longer hair so that it supports the extra length on the top. Instantly, that's all cleaned up there. Now, I don't know about you, drop it in the comments. Tell me, are you seeing as many fades now? Because I'm finding a lot of my clients are wanting longer hair on top. They want this much longer, and they want a lot of the hair retained at the side as well. I think it's just down to young people don't want to look like their dad anymore. So, is that true, Josh?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, right. So we've got this straight line. Now what I'm going to do is I've got my clipper, and I want to move the blade to the half position and just move up slightly higher, just a margin higher than we did with the 0. Now look, I can't go straight up into this because it's not going to cut. It's spiraling that way, or growing in this direction. So I'm going to actually go down against that area there. that's okay. And then I can go up against it now. And that's what you do when you have hair that's going in a kind of the opposite direction to where you want it to be going. Normally the hair would grow straight down. This is kind of growing sideways. I'm going to catch it with the blade and pull it to try and get it to stand on end. That's better. So tell me what the weather is where you live today, because here in Scotland it's like 25 degrees. Is it 25 degrees, Josh?
You had yourself, I think.
About that. It's extremely hot, so it's excellent. Number one now on the clipper, I'm just going to go up a little bit higher, not very high at all, maybe like about there, because I don't want to be blending in with the clipper any higher than about the occipital bone. So we've got this little short space now to join the 0 into the long hair. And then this is going to be cut with the scissors. So look at the action here with the clipper head, okay? When I connect with that line, I'm just going to curve out like this. And then just brush all the hair, all the debris, so that we can get a view of what we're tapering in here. There's still like a little line there. So I've gone from the 0 to the half to the 1, and we've got this little line. I'm not going to leave that. I think I'm going to come in now with my half guard, and I'll just eradicate that little line there before I carry on. So I'm just kind of like rubbing it out as if I was using an eraser, just kind of scrubbing at it with the clipper. Okay, and now I'm good to go on to this hair higher up here. Going to use a number 3. I think a 3 is a good way to just take out the bulk and get some visibility. And as high as I go with the 3, that will be as high as the clipper work is going to be. So I'm going to go in with the 3 right to around about here. As I said, this occipital area. Very, very important. We want this to curve up like that, and then we don't want to be taking any more hair further up beyond this. This is going to lie down on the occipital area here. Just gliding off this occipital area. Okay, this is probably an easier canvas to work with now, because I kind of know roughly this is the area that we want to work towards. I just need to blend this out. I'm up to a 1 here, so I can go between a 1 and a 3. There's a few guards between that those lengths. One of them is the 4.5 millimeter, or 3 1/16 inch. That's the 1.5 guard. put that on, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up and curve out. I don't want to go as high as this line here. So I'll just move you out a little bit there, Josh. And turn you a wee bit here. So we're starting to get, I don't know if you can see there, we're starting to get a little bit more of a fade going on here, or a taper. Remember, it started with just a very harsh line across the back, and now I'm just fading it out, getting into this longer hair. Now, Amy was asking there, do you need to cut it short? No, you don't need to cut it short. You can cut it short if you want, if you feel more confident cutting it short and your client's happy with that. By all means, you can cut it short. But try and get out of your comfort zone is what I would say. Try to take on haircuts that are a little bit beyond your normal level. Like, do things that test you. And that's the best way to get better. It can be quite scary when you're cutting hair that you know, doing a haircut you haven't tried. If you haven't tried going through this method where you're working your way through a number of different guards, that's quite daunting. And when you see it, it's like you maybe don't want to tackle that, but just do it, because you know the worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to go maybe wrong. There'll be some imperfections, but you're going to get another shot at it. As long as the person that you're cutting knows that you're learning, most people are generally all right about it. So let's just come back in a little bit here closer. This is where this join is here between the 1 and the 1.5. It's a little bit dark. I'm going to go with the 1 plus a little bit of the lever as well, and try and take that little line out there. This is looking a lot better. I'm much happier with that. Let's do the side now. Okay. I only really want to. No, let me get a clip, and I'm gonna, or a gripper, and I'm gonna grip this out of the way. Right. Okay, so we've got this gripped out of the way. I think what I'm going to do, folks, is getting very hot in the shop. Are you hot, Josh?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hot. I can't tell you how hot it is in here. So I'm going to open the door. You might hear a little bit of traffic noise, but we need to stay cool when we're doing this. So just a moment. Oh, so much better. Honestly, a bit of fresh air. Right. So, on the sides, again, I think I'll go in with the 0 first. Just start with the 0, and I'll come in, bring you in a bit closer. Okay. So just basically taking the 0 to the top of the ear there, not really any higher than that. And then I'm going to use my number 1 and just trim up a little bit. And then move the lever so that the bottom blade slides forward, and then I'm going to go up a little bit more. Tell me, by the way, everybody, can you hear the traffic noise now that I've opened the door? I hope you can still hear me okay. It's very unusual to be this hot in Scotland at this time of year. So anyway, 1.5. And then I'll just use this 1.5 guard one more time on the side here. And I think the rest I can cut down with the scissors and the little trimmer after that. So what I'm doing here, and I'm going to turn Josh a little bit so you can see, I'm angling the clipper out so I have one side of the guard touching the head and the other one is not, as I work my way across the top of the ear. That's important because if I hold that flat, I'm going to obliterate all this long hair that I have. So got to be careful not to wipe that bit out. I just want to take away this hair around, just around the very hairline. That's fine. So I'm going to completely walk you through this side here. Little trimmer. I'm going to use the Andis T outliner, my favourite, so I always use it. It has a really tight blade. Teeth are very tight on it. Just going to curve this out here. I think that really helps when you're doing like a tapered style finish. A little bit of definition, even though we're going to have long hair on top. Just here at the side, you can see there's some long hairs. We need to take them down. I'm going to try and get this as clean as a sort of a circle, if you want. Imagine a circle. I want it to look really circular, coming into a really straight line down at the side of this taper here. So I'm just using the corner of the clipper blade and just working my way up. And look, there's a few long hairs there. I want to kind of tease them out. I'm going to use the corner and go the other way now. So quite important here to try and get this line completely straight. Now the hairline disappears here, but I still want to make like a really straight line down there, as straight as I can make it. Nice, very straight. It always pops on dark hair really nicely, and I'll actually use a foil shaver as well, just to get all this dark hair, this stubble, just to make it disappear completely. And that makes that, I think that makes that look a lot cleaner. What do you think? Just with a foil shaver, it took 2 seconds to do that. And that's a way when you're working on your clients that you can just refine. You can add something, add a little touch to the haircut that just makes it look a little bit crisper for your client. You could use the open razor as well, but you saw how fast and easy it was just using a little foil shaver. This is a little single foil shaver that was sent out by Supreme Trimmer. It's pretty handy, and you can just easily clear away. Go up to this line. It won't really wipe your line out unless you kind of go over where you wanted your line to be. Okay, I'll turn Josh around now a little bit. Okay. Now, as I work on this side, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. I'll do the little zero. We'll grab these grippers from here. And just grip the hair out of the way. Okay. Zero on the clipper. I'm just going to go up to just about the ear there, top of the ear. Then the number 1. And then we've got the 1.5. Okay. Putting clipper guards in my pockets here. So 1.5, we'll just do the same thing. Just grab a little bit of hair, just cut a little bit. A little bit there. Remember to tilt out the high side of the clipper guard as you go around the ear, so that you only take just this hair here. All right, and now I'm going to use the trimmer again. What I'll do, I think, at this side is I'm going to trimmer over comb this just to show you another kind of way of blending this in. If I lift it up with the comb and really tease the hair so it's lifted, and then I can run the trimmer over the comb, which will gradually blend the hair in. So comb in, and I'll just run the trimmer up like that, and it makes it slightly softer there. Let me go back in again. You can see how that's immediately softened that area. So I'll work away across actually doing that. We'll not worry too much about this because I'm going to scissor cut that. So just at the front here, we'll make that little curve again. And on the ear, use the trimmer corner. And just cut straight down at the back there. Okay, so we've got a bit of a taper going now, all the way around, and we need to scissor cut the rest of this in. So I'm going to cut it in basically 2 sections. I'll go, when I say 2 sections, I'm going to cut the top, but I'll do the blending in first around the sides with the scissors so that you can see what I'm going to do there. We'll do it slightly differently today. So let's take Josh over here. I'm going to lift this side up here. Now, while I do this, I want to tell you about something that I've got coming up. I've been very busy in the background working on an online barber community. It's going to be called the 1 Minute Barber Academy. It's an online community. There's a link in the description of this live stream where you can sign up to be notified when I launch it. And it's going to be a place where I can interact with you on a deeper level than I do on YouTube. I'll hopefully be doing regular live Q&As on there, helping you to build. There's an entire training program on there as well. There's going to be a lot going on the 1 Minute Barber Academy. So drop your email into the link below and I'll send you a notification as soon as I get started with it. And it should be next month, early next month. And that's a really exciting thing happening. Right, so here, look at this. This is very, very heavy coming down into this short hair. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll scissor over comb this dry. I'm going to take about that much off. And what I want to think about is when I let go of the comb, where will the hair land? It's going to land right around about here if I lift it up. So scissor in, pick the hair up, cut across the comb, drop it down, and it's just sitting right about there. Okay, and again, drop it down. I'll go down a little bit further until when I lift it up, there's not much to take off. Okay, so we've got kind of like from long down into almost nothing at the bottom there. Looks really good. Okay, I'll step over and I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to work my way down. So we've got long hair. Look, there's some short hair there from that section that I just cut. And then we've got long hair. So that gives me a rough idea when I pick that up. Although I can judge it as well by just dropping it down this section. So I'm working down. If you're just joining us, by the way, apologies about the traffic noise. We have to work with the door open. It's so hot here today. Very unusual, but it's very nice. After work, we'll be having a barbecue or something. Sounds good, Josh, doesn't it?
Secret house to do with that.
Okay, I'll move around here now. And again, I'm gonna lift this hair up and just cut straight across. Bearing in mind, I want this hair to reach down to the occipital ridge there. So make sure I leave enough when I drop it that I've got some there. So I think about that much off, not much. And again, working my way down. There we go. It's fine, this, you know, like, I think it looks fine. It's well tapered. It looks good. But also, this long hair is actually going to lie kind of over the top of it as well, because this is going to be a middle part, and so there's going to be like longer layers lying across the top of our short hair. So at the back, to taper down, same again, just in with the scissor, thinking about how much hair we need to reach down to this occipital ridge. Make sure you don't take off too much. This hair is basically coming all the way from the crown, right here, and you want it to reach all the way down. Ideally, this crown hair should stop around about the occipital ridge, and then you're going to be getting closer and closer in from there. That would look really nice. Josh's hair is just long enough there from the crown down to there, so we just want to be going down a little bit and taking a little bit off. I did say at the start of this video, one of the issues I had last time I was trying to cut his hair to this style was that we didn't quite have enough length on the top to reach all the way over to the sides. And you can see here at the crown, it's reaching down now just perfectly, just to that length, and the top's starting to reach over as well. So this style's really starting to fill out. And if you have someone who's restyling their hair, and this is the kind of style they want, you know, like a 90s middle parting, curtain style, Johnny Depp hairstyle, that's going to be the difficulty, is the growing out from the top and reaching all the way over to the sides. That hair has to reach there. So advise your clients of that. Advise whoever you're cutting. Just say, look, we're going to cut this in, but there may be a period of growing out where it's going to take time to reach there. I'm just storing these there. So look at the density here that we have. There's a really dense area there, totally not blended in at all. But that's going to be visible. We're not really going to have long hair line over the top of that. So let's again try and take away. There's quite a lot of density there, right around about where this parietal bone this ridge and the curvature on the crown meet. So go in with a scissor. Let me know, by the way, I mentioned the online community, if it's something that interests you. What stage are you at in your barbering career? I've been asking a lot of questions on the community part of YouTube recently, just trying to find out where everybody's at. And I know that a lot of people are complete beginners. They may be doing home haircuts, they're maybe doing in their first year at college, or along that kind of level, you know, very beginner level or novice, and trying to learn more. If that's you, the community is perfect for you. Really, it'll be a good supportive place, and I can share a lot with you in there. So if it is something that you're interested in, do hit the link in the description of this live feed and leave me your email, and I can send across some information to you, more information about it as we get it up and running. As I said, I've been working on loads of video for it. There's so many lessons I've been putting in there recently, and I can't wait to release it. Okay. If I pull all that down now, I'm getting into the long hair at the top, so I think it's time now we leave the sides and we get onto the top, and I'm going to show you how I would cut this middle part on the top, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to cutting this. Okay. Before I do, any questions at all? Well, we've got a lot of comments here. People saying hi from all over the world. Wow, we've got a lot of people on the live stream. It's clips. Where do I make the clips? No, I don't make the clips. Traffic noise is not too bad. No, sorry. I'm going to get this up and I'll just speak to Amy. Was asking there, do I make these hair grippers? These hair grippers, I just got them on Amazon. They're called True Barber hair grippers. They're so cheap. You get a pack of 6 for a few dollars, you know, like $5.99 or something. They're worth having. They're dead handy. I can sometimes use a slightly different clip. Let me show you if I can find one. Sometimes on very long hair, if you have a lot of hair, you need to resort to using something like a crocodile clip. But most of the time, grippers are what I use, if I use them at all. A lot of the time, I'm just kind of relying on the hair being wet, and I style on wet hair. So, style on wet hair. What am I talking about? Cut on wet hair. That's the word I was looking for. Because you can get a lot of control when you're cutting on wet hair. It's much easier to control. So, I'm going to wet this down, get it ready for scissor cutting. And what I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to switch it over to another camera I have here, which I've actually set up a little bit higher so that you can look down on what I'm cutting in. If I need to put you back on this camera, I will. Turn Josh around. Okay, here we go. Let's drop you down a little bit, Josh, there. Okay. So quite important, what we want to do here is retain as much of the length from the middle, as I said. So we don't really want to take anything from the middle at all. Move you in a little bit closer. So I've found my parting. This is a great way to find the middle part exactly, right? So if the hair's wet, just comb it straight back, okay? Right back like that, and then push it forward a little bit and separate it in the middle. It'll just fall into the natural middle parting. You can see, look how clean that middle part is. I'm going to bring it over a little bit closer to see that. You see how clean it is just by brushing it straight back and separating it in the middle. Now let's assess what we've got here, okay? If I pull this down, look at the angle we've got, okay? So it's actually following kind of the route that I wanted to follow. This is a touch too long, for this shape. I think you really want to take it right to around about the corner of the eye, right there. And the same on the other side. At the front, it's gonna come down into like a real sharp point. There'll be like a really long point on the front. Okay, there's not, but that's probably because I trimmed it last time. But let's come across here, back to our parting. So in this haircut, we're not cutting the top at all. What I want to do is I'm going to cut from the back towards the front in sections, and I'm going to create this nice line down in towards the corner of the eye and follow that shape. So let me see if I can get a really good angle for you here. So comb in. I'm going to pick up this section here. I might even switch to using the narrow teeth of the comb so I can get it really tight. Okay, so comb in, nice and smooth, and I'm pulling it out like this, right to like a really straight line, as if my hand is going straight up the side of the head. And this hair from the middle, I want it to reach all the way over. So anything beyond that, I can actually get away with taking off. That's fine. You can take that down there. Okay. Totally fine. I've got hair reaching all the way over, and that long hair that was excess that kind of makes the haircut puffy, that's gone now. So I'm going to move forward a little bit. I'll take another section, okay? And again, let's go with the narrow teeth of the comb. I want to get it really clean, get the teeth right in at the hairline. Pull that section straight out, nice and straight, all the way out. I can see that hair starting to fall away there at the fingertips, and I can trim that down there. Okay. Now, this is where we start to change things, okay? So as I step forward, I'm not going to be pulling them straight out anymore. I'm going to pull them straight out and back slightly, okay? Let's try and get this very, very clean for you. Okay. So, narrow teeth in. And rather than this time pulling it straight out, I'm going to pull it back a little bit, back to where my previous section was. What does that mean? That means that the hair is actually having to be longer because it has to now start reaching back a little bit. Now, the next section, if I pull this down and pull it back as well, okay, back the way, now it's starting to get really long. You see how far it has to travel to get to my fingers? And that's what's causing this curvature, this long kind of graduation of longer hair as I get further forwards. Because that's longer, it has, it's going to reach down further the closer I get towards the front. It's what you call over direction. I've mentioned it in videos before, but it's also what you call a compound over direction, because you're also directing the hair. You're directing the hair down, and you're directing the hair back as well. So compound over direction. Again here now, pull this down and all the way back. Eventually we don't actually want to be cutting anything off as we get towards the front. We're just pulling this out this way. There's not much to take off there. And the final section, we'll pull that all the way back. Nothing coming off the top. Okay, it's just purely from the sides. That's dropping down. That's actually dropping out of the section. It won't reach all the way back to here. That's fine. Leave it. I'm going to have to use the narrow teeth of the comb because it's just not gripping with the wide teeth. So, and there's basically nothing to come off now. That's it. So what will happen is, as I comb this down, you'll see the curvature that we've created. Okay, so it's just gradually getting longer down here, but we're not at the corner of the eye, so that's something you're going to have to cut kind of freehand. Let me show you. I'll lower you down a little bit. So freehand technique. I'm going to go in with the scissor. I might get a bigger scissor actually. I'm going to use a 7-inch for this because I want to catch the whole section and I want to be able to see the whole lot. So we're going to get the comb underneath there. And just lie it there. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to lie it on the corner of the eye and just trim across the comb. Because it's thin enough, because we've scissor cut all this, that's fine. And it's just lying right there, right at the corner of the eye. I think you could do this yourself at home or as a learner barber on anybody on a model, because I've shown you the method and the angles that you need to take. It's not difficult. It's just make sure you follow that process and you'll get that shape. I mean, how many sections did we take there? We took probably around about 6 sections, probably 6 sections from the back towards the front, and we were just over directing them back towards the ear. And look at that, really easy. Nothing had to come off the top. We don't need to lift sections up on the top. Right, I'll turn Josh round. Let's turn Josh round. This will be easier for me on this side because I was contorting myself in a crazy angle to cut that so that I didn't, because the camera's always where I want to be standing when I'm cutting hair. So on this side, way easier, way easier. Okay, let's pull out this section, trim out the excess that's sticking out from the vertical line, straight up line. Okay, step forward a little bit. Again, just trim off that excess. I'll step forward one more time and then I'll start over directing back. So what do we do? That's 3 sections there. Okay, and now I'll start over directing backwards. So I'm going to pull this back towards myself. And again, now I'm going to make sure that I get this super clean here, right? Narrow teeth. I'm not a big fan of the narrow teeth, but when you're trying to get a really clean section, it does help because they're tighter and they grip the hair better. There we go, just a small amount to come off. Again, I think I'm going to pull a whole lot back because there wasn't much to come off there. So, here we go. A little bit to come off there. There we go. I'm going to scissor over comb. There's a little heavy area there. I'm just going to scissor over comb that a little bit. Might check it when it's dry actually. Okay. And then let's take a look again at the shape at the front of the this little curve of hair when it's wet. So look, I think this is okay, but again, a little bit too long, just going past the corner of the eye. So if I just trim just these hairs here away, I think that's okay. It's just right on the corner of the eye now. Right. I'm still going to have a little bit of work to do on this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry it off first, and then once it's dry, we'll take a look at the haircut overall and make a decision on the changes that we might need to make to it. So, what are we doing? Just checking some questions here. I feel my clipper work is fair, but scissor work, well, R. Smith, scissor work is always the hardest to learn, actually. Scissor work is the thing that you're going to work on more. It takes a little bit longer. A lot of greetings from all over the world. The name of the scissors, these are quartered steel scissors. It's what I always use. Quartered steel scissors are excellent scissors. They have a convex blade. What does that mean? A convex blade is a blade that's actually honed into a finer point, and you can only get that with certain types of metal. 440C steel is a very common metal for scissors. Very good, hard wearing. Quite often you get a bevel edge. They're absolutely fine. Like a lot of like maybe Jaguar scissors would be bevel edge, and they're not bad. You can cut hair with them, but the convex edge, it's just indescribable. It is like a hot knife through butter. They cut so cleanly and so effortlessly, so that's why I like to use them. Let me also qualify that by saying I didn't pay for them. They sent me them out. I love using them. I haven't taken payment from them for any reason. I said, look, if you want to send me the scissors, I'm absolutely happy, and I love them. I've been cutting with quartered steel scissors for almost 10 years. You can't go wrong with them. They are pricey, but you can actually, this is the latest thing, is you can lease them. They have a website, it's called scissorsub.com, and you can lease them there. It's like, I don't know, $5 or $20 a month or something like that. Right, I'm going to dry this now. I think I'm going to dry it without the flat nozzle, because with this type of hair, you kind of want a little bit of natural flow. I want the hair to kind of fly all over the place. I don't want to flatten it and smooth it with the nozzle. So with the flattener, the concentrator nozzle, I'm just going to dry it off purely with the nozzle off. All right, Josh. So I can see as I dry the hair, I'm looking for any imperfections, things that I might need to change when I'm drying it. And there's like a little dark area right around about here that I picked up when I was drying. So I think I might see how it looks when I finish styling, and I'm going to come back and maybe scissor cut that a little bit better. I'll just check it over. Sometimes a blend looks good when it's wet, and then when it's dry it looks different, because the property of the hair has just changed. I'm going to repeat what I just said there, because I don't know if you could have heard me with the hairdryer. So once you look at your haircut wet, it can look a certain way, because wet hair has different properties to dry hair. It's in two different states. It's in what you call beta keratin when it's wet. Sorry, alpha keratin when it's wet, and then when you dry it, you put it in a different state. It's known as beta keratin. But all you need to know is that the hair will look different when it's dry, and your blending in may look different when it's dry. I've got a little modification to make here, I believe, just in this area at the side. I'll pull you in to see. So I think it's right around about here. I think there's too much weight there, so I've pulled that all forward, and this area here is too heavy for my liking right there. I could just go in, scissor over, comb a little bit of that out. and then pull this hair over the top of it. I'm also looking at this here. Now, when I comb this just at a certain angle, it's right around about there, I'm really like highlighting the angle at which we cut the sections to create this over direction, this longer hair. If the hair was to be sitting like that, look at what's happened. We've got light and dark. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Josh is going to be able to get his hair to sit just like that, but what I might do is I might go in with the scissor and I'm just going to slice through this area a little bit. Pick up some sections. Now when you slice, don't close the blade completely. Just work it with the thumb a little bit. I'm just going to slice it, and what it'll do is it'll break up these ends. This kind of solid line will begin to disappear just as I slice away. That looks a bit more textured now. I'm liking that. Let's go around this side. Have a look at the same area. It's nowhere near as heavy on this side. It looks okay to me. We'll check the back here as well. Just around about this area here, I'm going to lift it up and just check it over. Here, a little bit of weight there. So as I was saying, if you've just joined, or if you need to go, hit the link down below in the description and drop your email, and I will send you over all the news about the community as and when it launches. And that's a place where we can connect on a deeper level, and I can help you. If you're really interested in growing as a barber, you'll learn a lot more in the community than I'm teaching you here on YouTube, because there is a limit to how deep I can go with the teaching. However, here we are. This is our final cut here. I'm going to brush it through. Now, does anyone have a pompadour comb? They're really handy, big, thick, wide tooth combs. These combs, you probably see me using them in videos. They're really good just for checking over your haircut. Okay, you could just comb through, check over the hair, see if there's anything you've done wrong. See how it lies as you move it around as well. This is something I love about these types of haircuts. See how it just falls right about the eye level there. You know, like it's loose, and you can kind of just put the hand through it. It's a really easy thing to rearrange during the day. You can just put your hand through it. That's all the styling it needs, you know. Pushing back this way. Josh, I feel like you could be like in a chewing gum advert or something. throwing your hand through the hair, eating chewing gum. Some Wrigley's Extra or something. Right. Okay, I'm just gonna thank everybody for coming. Right, hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'll be back soon. I'm going to repost this maybe tomorrow, and I'll be live when I repost it, and you know, I'll edit out the blank spaces. And if you want to join me and ask me questions, chat to me, I'll be there through the live stream, and I'll answer questions on the keyboard that I couldn't do when I was talking here. So listen, hope you've enjoyed that live stream. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Good luck with, if you're doing these types of haircuts, good luck. And come back and give me some feedback and let me know how you got on. And until next time, Have a great weekend.